toes they touch the carpet steps, saw the door into the breast of you, vagrant queen. Show my hands to warm the touch, whispering as you dress me up anew, bride to be. Down the aisle, our sidewalk calls, a clearly of empty cars, cold night.
So we're talking about GPRs, general purpose rifles. We're going to talk about the theory behind that, and why you might want one, why you might not want one, but we'll get all into that right now. So my understanding of the definition of general purpose rifle is a rifle that has general purpose. It's good at a bunch of things, but it's not perfect at one particular task. So you're looking at a rifle that you can run from, inside a building all the way out to 500, 600, 700 yards if needed. But it's not going to be great at either of those things. It's going to be good at it. Something that can perform both tasks without struggling too much. So you're looking for a rifle that can do that. In comes a general purpose rifle, like this particular rifle here. So my particular requirements for a general purpose rifle is something with a barrel that is greater or at least 12.5 inches and no longer than 60 inches, and it has to have some form of magnification while still being able to have some form of red dot capability or 1x capability. Or my preparedness includes night vision. Part of that general purpose also has to fill some type of night role. So it has to have an IR laser and illuminator, and then it also has to have a white light for low light capabilities. Having a general purpose rifle means that you want something that's going to be good close in and good at distance. So it's almost non-negotiable to have something with magnification. You just have to decide for your general purpose rifle how far out do you need to go. But even in city centers, you're going to have city blocks that go for hundreds of yards. And then obviously close-in work is, 5 yards, sometimes closer, anything to 25 yards. But having magnification is important. A lot of people looking at like an end of law optic setup for a GPR, they think of the Trigicon ACOG, which is fixed 4-power. It's great. It's a fantastic option, and a lot of people will piggyback a red dot on top of that. I did the same thing, but only with the name Trigicon. I like the ACOG because it has fiber optics and tritium. Well, the TR25 1-6, the AccuPoint, also has fiber optics and tritium, and that's what I'm running here. What you're looking at is an optic that has a green mil-dot reticle, and it's really a direct competitor of the Razor, in my opinion, because you have super crisp, clean glass, a very thin bezel. It almost, you almost get that disappearing bezel effect, like the Razor does. I also was somewhat weight conscious with my optic choice. This one on the lighter side of the typical weight class for 1 to 6. You're looking at 19 ounces for the tube, and another 5 ounces for the mount, the leap mount from ScalarWorks, and then another couple ounces for the Reptilian mount and the RMR. It really is on the lighter side of 1 to 6s. And with it being tritium and fiber optic, you don't run out of battery life. The tritium will run out eventually, but you're looking anywhere from 10 to 15 years for that. It's really not bad. And then you still have daylight illumination from the fiber optics. And the reason I like that setup is because eventually my red dot's going to die. And the reason I don't go with an ACOG is because when that red dot dies, I'm stuck with 4x magnification, whereas the TR25, I have a true or somewhat true 1x magnification, no magnification, 1x view. And then on the other end of that, I get 2 more x magnification on the top end, doing 6x versus the fixed power 4 magnification. So that is my choice for a GPR. For this particular setup, I don't think stainless steel is the best choice for longevity. Stainless steel is going to get shot out a whole lot quicker than something like chrome lined, cold hammer forged. But you're looking at 10,000, 15,000 rounds until it's really shot out. Maybe 9,000 rounds when you start seeing a degradation in accuracy. So it's not going to be my permanent GPR rifle. I am going to move back to a 14.5, the 14.5 URGI upper. I feel like that is got a little more longevity just because of the DD cold hammer forged chrome line barrel. Moving up front, you are looking at a B.E. Myers Maul C1 Plus and an Arisaka weapon light. The B.E. Myers Maul C1 Plus is a little on the heavy side, but the quick change between close and long range is something that I enjoy. And then I went with the smaller Arisaka weapon light to save a little bit of weight. But I like that setup. It's a good setup. You don't have a bunch of pressure switches, for IR and for white light. And then I also have the dual lead tail cap for my weapon light. That way there is a little bit of redundancy for if my Unity button dies. Or the rail is the Geisley Mark 8 rail. I chose this rail over the Mark 16 or the Mark 14 or any other rail because of its geometry. So the shape of it is very similar to a Picatinny rail, so you're getting, rock solid reliability. Your lockup is really strong with that extended barrel nut, and I'm not worried about losing zero on my laser device. It's also really comfortable to grab, and I don't have to worry about, the heavier weight of a Picatinny rail. The rail is definitely heavier than a Mark 16 or a Mark 14 rail, or like a BCM MCMR, but it's going to be more rigid for the long run. I'm not worried about dropping this thing or anything like that. My trigger is the Geisley G2S trigger. I like the G2S trigger for something like this versus, say, like an SSAE or something like that, because it's a little heavier of a brake. I think it's a little more controllable when hovering your finger on the trigger. And it's not going to be some crazy crisp break by any means, but it's still a fantastic trigger. You can really get that thing ripping, but a little less worried about an ND in like charged situations. Buffer system is I've got an H2 buffer in it, and then a Springco spring. I really like it. It's pretty soft shooting, but I still have this thing gassed and buffered so that it can run in adverse conditions. So it's not on the bleeding edge of reliability, but it is soft shooting unsuppressed and still soft shooting suppressed. Stock is a I forget, an LWRC stock. I like it. I like the design on it. It's a very nice stock. Muzzle device is, I believe, a Nox. It works with my suppressor. It's sort of like the Surefire War Comp. It is pinned and welded for a overall 16-inch length. So not an SBR or anything like that. So really breaking it down, a GPR is going to be specific, purpose-driven to you and your environment and the environments you expect yourself to be in. But there are some guidelines to follow to make a reliable and well-rounded GPR. It's not, there's no blueprint you can follow to make it your own. You've got to experiment with barrel lengths, you've got to experiment with optics, setups, fixed power, LPVO, 3x mag, 4 or 5, 6x mag, whatever suits your needs. But the main thing you want in a GPR, especially if it's a GPR that you're going to use as your last rifle, as your end of rule, no law, lawlessness rifle, apocalypse rifle, you want it to be reliable. So it's not something that you can piecemeal together and expect it to run. You need to test it. You need to test it in different environments because it's going to be a rifle that you use in different environments. You need to stretch its legs. What distance do you want it to be capable at? You need to shoot it at that distance. How handy is it for you? Is it too heavy? Which weight is a subjective thing, but get out and shoot that thing. Shoot it in the winter. Shoot it in 108-degree summer when it's humid as fuck out. Shoot it in the fall. Shoot it in the rain. You really want to test this thing if you really plan to use it the way you're saying you want to use it. So they look cool, but reliably running is a lot cooler. Anyways, that's probably going to be it for me, guys. Please like, comment, share, subscribe, all the things. It's going to help me continue to make these. It's going to help me to continue to make these videos. I'm not a grand thumb level cinematic quality, but I hope to get there one day, and your support is definitely going to help me with that. I don't want your money, I just want your love. But again, that's going to be it for me, guys. Hope to see you at the next one. One more thing to add. Whenever you're out at the range training, don't forget to stay hydrated. Hydration is important for all of your body's functions, so stay hydrated. Stay hydrated on a daily basis. Don't forget that water is the source of life. Stay hydrated, y'all.